Okay, wanted to make this quick video to talk about parliamentary procedure. So we are actually going to have this convention. We're going to do it via Zoom, and to kind of keep things organized, we're going to do it by parliamentary procedure. I'm going to post another video later in the week that kind of shows this in action, but I just wanted to go over it really quick so that we kind of know what's happening. So one, to make a motion, that's the actual law that you're trying to write. So right now you've got that burning issues sheet, and you're trying to make up laws for based on what your character would want to do. In order for those to be used in the convention, you're going to want to write "be it resolved that." That's how you'll start all those laws. So when you're writing them down, it's all right if you were just jotting down your thoughts, but just write "be it resolved." So that way, when you want to make a motion, you just raise your hand and say "be it resolved," and then read out what your proposed law is. Two, someone's going to need to second the motion. I'm going to have that person that seconds it be someone outside of your group. So if you're a farmer, I can't have another farmer second the motion. That way it will limit, things that we talk about to things that people actually want to discuss outside of your main group. So someone's going to need to second the motion. They'll just raise their hand and say, I second the motion. And now the motion is the only issue that can be discussed. For the motion to pass, just requires a simple majority of votes. So once this is on the floor, once the motion has been seconded, it is the only thing that can be discussed. I realize a lot of stuff is going to seem kind of complicated, but we're doing it to make sure things stay orderly and that we're kind of organized in how the meeting is going. So a motion has to be seconded, then it's the only thing that can be discussed, unless you would like to make an amendment. So if you want to change something, so amend means to change. You could just say, I'd like to amend the motion to read, and then you would state exactly what your amendment is going to be. And you want to make sure that with your motions and with your amendments that you use very precise language. Like you wouldn't say we believe because X, Y, and Z that this should be the thing. You would just read out what is the motion going to be? What exactly is the amendment going to be? We don't need opinions and stuff. Just get to the point and make sure you're precise. The amendment also would need a second. So someone would have to second the amendment. At that point, if an amendment has been proposed and seconded, it will be the only issue that can be discussed, the amendment to the main motion. So you can see how it's like a kind of a logical progression of order that the meeting would go on. This just keeps people from talking about a bunch of random stuff and keeps us focused on the task at hand. A point of information. At any point, if you have a question or are confused or you just want to bring clarity to something, if you just raise your hand and say point of information, we have to answer it. We have to answer the question before we can go back and talk about the motion or the amendment that was on the floor. 6, a point of order. If you think someone's speaking out of turn, like not talking about the motion that's on the floor. So say the motion on the floor is about slavery and someone's wanting to talk about payment in kind, it wouldn't be allowed. I, as the chairman of the discussion of the meeting, would tell them to be quiet. If you ask for a point of order, I'd make sure that we stayed on topic. So if you just call for a point of order, I'll either say, that works or that doesn't work. 7, call the question. Now, if you think we've had enough discussion, say we're discussing a motion, I don't know, it could be about anything. The motion could be like a motion to abolish slavery. And you think we've discussed it enough, like we've each heard the other side debate enough about, the pros and cons of that issue. You could say, I call the question. Once you've called the question, it's not debatable. We don't get to talk about it. We take a vote on whether or not we want to end discussion. So at this point, that vote would just be about ending discussion. After we've ended discussion, after we've called the question and say a majority of people said, okay, we want to end discussion, then we would have a vote on the actual bill itself. So there will be 2 votes. There will be a vote 1 to end discussion. There will be a vote 2 on the bill or motion or resolution itself, either way. Lastly, you could call for a caucus at some point. If you wanted to talk things over with your group members outside of the main group, you could just kind of request it. I call for a caucus. We'd vote on it, and then we might allow a 5 to 10 minute caucus for you to just talk amongst yourselves. So that's kind of the basic parliamentary procedure that we're going to use. It's probably going to be a little confusing at first, but I think once we get the hang of it, it will be simpler. And like I said, later this week, I'm going to show a video of how it works in action that I'm going to make sure we all watch. So there's that. Now for the rest of the day, if you just want to make sure that you have your kind of rough draft resolutions down with your teammates, so you kind of know what you think right off the bat. Tomorrow, we'll kind of get into that dealing session where we talk with other groups and kind of make compromises and stuff like that before we actually have the Constitutional Convention on Friday. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.